Hey there, folks. Coming to you. It's a little bit late. I'm in my mortuary. Everybody says my house is like that because I don't like a lot of light. Bothers my eyes. Hope everybody's having a reasonable evening after the events of today. Again, something always comes up, doesn't it? I think I'm going to focus on this subject in my next talk, in my next podcast, and then boom, something happens. I'm sure everyone has heard about the events of this evening with the former guy. I don't wish ill on anyone. I don't. But I made a comment on a post on Threads. I don't go to really X anymore just to tout my podcast. I have my peeps on the Threads. It's a much nicer, more pleasant environment. But I made a point that it shouldn't be this way. Yet I would propose that he had let this out into the world by giving permission for people to be their worst selves. How did he think it would not touch him at some point? You know, and two, he was mad that Biden was getting a lot of press, even though it was to the negative, and, you know, you got the pearl clutching class over there freaking out about something they created. There was reporting that DJT got very upset while he was golfing for like a week and a half that Biden was getting so much press and he wanted the limelight back. That had supposedly come from his inner circle. I wasn't there. I don't know. That's just reporting. Take it as you will. But I mention it because you know he likes the spotlight. I also commented that you know he'll run with this, and will neglect to see he helped create this division. That people feel actions like this are their only option. And that's where we are, folks, in the world. And this is why we need to create a better world where things like this don't flourish, are not our daily. I mean, I can remember after Biden got elected and we got through the whole January 6th crisis. Only those first few months, things settled down and it was much more calm and peaceable. I don't know if y'all remember that, but that lull we had for a minute, it was most welcome. And I thought maybe finally getting back to some normalcy. But, here we are. And I mean, I'm not saying not to prosecute him, DJT. He crimed. And that's the only reason he's running. And now to hear at the RNC, he's going to be doing some apprentice-style reveal about his VP pick. Again, this is not reality TV, people. That's shameful. Where are we that this has flourished in our society, that we have not evolved and done better? I mean, I just can't. It boggles the mind. It truly does. And you see those things and you go, wow, really? Is that where we are? And I mean, I was even like the press conference the other day with Biden. And he just kept like stepping off us, answering the same question over and over again in a different way. And he was banging. I mean, he was on point and everything. And it's kind of like, when are y'all gonna get the net? It's like you want him to lose, but again, then you come back to that billionaire class. Like the 6 companies own like 80% of the media. And I did make a post on Threads that somebody did a meme, and here's what the meme says. It says, I don't mind having to pay taxes when the poor can't. Which, hey, I was a poor kid. I get it. I'm cool with that. I don't mind paying my fair share. That's why I keep preaching universal health care. Then everybody benefits. What upsets me is having to pay taxes when the rich won't. I did respond with a nice little shade to the rich. Those who are very, want them pennies. Every one of them. Even ours. Truth, we pick up the slack for the rich not paying, in my opinion. So that amounts to welfare for them. That costs us in the end. That's the trick that gets played every time the rich get a tax cut. We get stuck with the bill. Who are the welfare queens now? The moneyed class. Things like this are why we need to flip the script, folks, and open people's eyes to what's going on. That's what I mean by flip the script. Tax cuts? How often do those benefit us? And if they do, it's temporary. Most of the time, we paying for them. Who got the welfare now? We picking up that bill. Flip the script. Call it like it is. And that's why people with this incident this evening, yesterday evening, because sometimes I just don't sleep. I'm going to get ready to, but I really wanted to throw this out there really quick while I had it on the brain. No political violence is ever, for anything. I don't care what it's about. It's never warranted. But we have to look at the environment that has fostered that political violence to flourish and proliferate. Because that it happened is a problem. But what allows it to germinate and grow and continue to end up with an action at the end of that in our society is something we all have to look at. And what has fostered this, again, you get what you give. I'm not condoning it. I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying, if anyone would go and do those things and say those vitriolic things and that violent rhetoric constantly, all the time, how did one think that that wouldn't come back and touch them at some point? That, you're going to wishful thinking and wave a magic wand and somehow you're protected and because you think you're so special? No. Anybody who has ever, I don't know many people that have talked in such a way that some adverse action has not come back at them as a response. Because that's what life is. You have an action, you get an equal or opposite reaction. I mean, you get reaction. That is basic science. So, I mean, and that's not justifying. I'm stating actual things. I don't like that we've gotten to this place. And then I watched the video. And there are reports now that it wasn't a bullet, it was glass. I don't know. We'll just have to wait to see. That's why I did want to come on and say, people, don't jump on a bandwagon. The misinformation, disinformation thing. I mean, I can sit here and say this is, like I said, he was. There's a lot of suspect about it because there's, random reports about the guy's a Trumper who did it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we have to wait to see. But, I mean, these things are out there in the wind. Some of them from, I don't know if we want to call them reliable media sources anymore, but, ones, as a couple weeks ago, were considered reliable media sources. But I mean, I guess we'll have to see when the confirmation comes in, but these things are out there floating in the wind. And as far as I know at this time of filming, none of that is confirmed. So if you pick up on those or whatever, I mean, like Biden said, I have an opinion, but I don't have facts. And I'm of that same vein that I have an opinion, but I don't have facts. My opinion is really irrelevant. And that could throw me into a conspiracy theory bucket, which I'm not. It's just, again, when you connect dots, I could connect it one of two ways. I mean, or not one of two ways. I mean, there are two ways that I could, if I had to be really out there in, crazy town or whatever. But I mean, it's not so crazy if you connect those dots. And there's two things that I immediately thought of. Neither of which are probably correct. But I'm just saying, so people just don't get on that misinformation, disinformation bandwagon, because again, we need to flip the script and we need to stop that. When you see that stuff come up, report it, because anymore on Meta, Facebook, Threads, they are this Dispatch, which is a right-leaning, of course, organization, is contracted by them as a third party to fact check, and everything having to do with Project 2025. They're tagging a lot of it. Facebook, Threads. I don't know about Insta. I think so. I don't frequent it very much. Once in a while. I already know one of my posts on Threads got tagged about Project 2025. My other ones haven't so far, but I had a shorter list that was a breakdown, and then I found a longer one, so I screenshotted it. I didn't crop it. I just threw it up, not thinking. And they tagged it that it had false information, but every single point is in Project 2025. So I said, review this. No, it's true. Did you read? I read. It's not false, but they're doing that. And I saw them do it on a couple of pages that I follow. They're tagging their stuff when they're trying to speak about Project 2025. I've seen other people say that they're getting that too. So that's why it's important. I mean, if mine was false, I would take it down, but it's not. So I'm not backing down from that. But there is a lot of false information out there and stuff. So it's, again, choose your sources wisely. Don't jump on some bandwagon. I mean, we can all have our thoughts, and I know we do. Again, critical thinking people, if you have information that, like, say you're like me, you follow this and this is your thing, or it's just, I mean, I just information. That's my jam, anything. But connect. There could be a couple of possibilities. Like I said, don't have facts, just my opinion. But they're not. It wouldn't surprise me. Let's just say that. It's probably not correct. Or maybe we'll never know. Who knows? But I just want people to really buckle down on the information and where they get it. And a lot of people, towards the end there, were, like, Project 2025 is out of the news cycle already. I said, no, you flip that script. You put it back in the cycle. No, you redirect. You get them to get back on point. You keep pushing the media, the legacy media, get back on point. Don't let them get it out the news cycle, because these things, every day, I know we have seems like we have a million crises a week. But don't let that be distracting. Focus on what needs to be focused on. This was not a completely negative outcome as far as I think only one person lost their, I think one person lost their life in the crowd. But that was another thing. I was watching that video. And I didn't mean to be flippant, only one person, but it could have been a lot worse. I live in Pennsylvania, so yeah, could have been worse. Especially in the region. Yeah, it could have been a lot worse. But the other thing on the video that really tripped me was you watch it, you hear the sounds, and you see them get down. People just kind of squinch down. Nobody fled, nobody went anywhere. They just squinched down a little bit. And you know, you see the fracas and the Secret Service coming in and everything, and people's phones were coming out. And then he's like, oh, fight, and whatever, and trying to be like he's a tough guy. I mean, he's still a pussy-ass bitch, but, I was really like, and you're taking your phones out, and you're filming this, and you're not worried there's not somebody else out there? I mean, not that you run and stampede and panic, but it was like, in 1 second, their concern just flipped and went to, oh, we gotta film. And I just was like, are you looking in the crowd to see that there's nobody else? Are you making sure that the people and yourself around you are safe? I mean, you're filming on your cameras. Like, wow. Dang. The minute it would have looked like the getting was good, my butt would have been scurrying to someplace that, you know, I could be safe and not get a shot on me. You know what I mean? I'm not stampeding or anything, but they didn't even, the whole crowd didn't even, when you could hear the sounds and the shots, they didn't even look concerned. I mean, they squinched down a little bit, but like that was it. That was one of the trippiest things I've seen in a minute. I just, again, this is where we need to flip the script and educate people. Knowledge is power. Truly it is. I mean, it just, we have this society, I mean, not all of us, absolutely not. I mean, there's a lot of us. You know, we're all on one page, and then there's these, you know, other groups that aren't. But we're allowing these things to continue to flourish in our society, and make people who would want to do these negative things and take these negative actions. And I mean, I even saw the GOP come out with no evidence and no facts, blaming the Democrats and Biden for this. I mean, that's just their go-to. Again, vote them out. They're not acting right. I mean, no reasonable, critically thinking, rational person comes out and attacks the other side when their boy, something happens to them. And it's always the other side. They never point the finger back at themselves for bringing this on, for the violence and the hateful rhetoric that they've spouted for so long. And even doing that's hateful rhetoric that is completely unfounded and untrue at this point. Like, what are you doing? You're just throwing accusations out there that are wild and being so mad and angry, and again, fingers point back. Like, take some responsibility for what you people have done. And this is what the Heritage Foundation has done. They've weaseled their way into and had their hostile takeover of the GOP. So everybody's the enemy. And everybody deserves eradication. So we have to stop this as a society if we want to do better. That has to be the other point that we have to get across. Because I don't know that there's any way, as I said before, to ever stomp this out. But the main goal is, if you want a better society and a better world around you to live in, you got to be the change you want to see. You know, you have to want to do better and achieve to be a better person, and not allow things like this to flourish in the first place, nor give people a reason to want them to flourish or want to take up that mantle of being a dictator. If you create a society that has no need for that, then hopefully they won't. That's what I'm saying. We need to create a better way of life. Not just in the materialistic, no. I meant as people, as human beings. I mean, people need to be more introspective. And it's not about being some academic or anything like that, but educate yourself and not be subject to the hamster wheel of crazy. And all of that. I mean, I even listen to clips like Hal Sparks throws on it, and he breaks down, and some of the stuff they come off with is some of the wildest things I've ever heard, and it's all their opinion of, they think this about Biden, or this about this person, or this about that person, or even Hunter Biden. And it's like, who are you, and why does your opinion matter? And why you spouting this crap because you get some payday? I think the last one I was watching was Newsmax. Like, dude was just so, I mean, his whole attitude was terrible. He was nasty. And just the lies and the vitriol. I was just like, why would anybody put you on TV? This is not news. 90% of it was his opinion. Had no basis in reality or fact. Anybody could go fact check that shit and look it up. But people watch this on that ecosystem. And it's just, and it just keeps reinforcing and reinforcing, self-reinforcing. It's just, we have to do better. I think that's my real message here. No violence is good in any way. But we also need to look back at what created that. And we're not doing that. I mean, a lot of people are making that correlation with school shootings and the fear people have to live under. And that's exactly true. Oh, now y'all see what people have been saying? Now that it hits your home and where you are. But in a minute they'll forget because they'll be distracted again. And we can't be distracted. We need to bring it back around and say, hey, this kind of this negative environment creates and fosters these kinds of things to flourish, and we need to do better. We need to do better as people so that it does not continue or find a way to have any life about it and go forth. We have to do better, but we need to own that as a society we're allowing and perpetuating this. Again, people need to own their mistakes. And as a society that we've allowed it to go this far, this long, for all these years, and that people are just tired of living through history in unprecedented times. We want to go back to precedented times. Like I said, that little window of time there in 21, for a minute towards the end of it, we had a break, and then it was gone. I would like to go back to that. It was much more peaceful. It was so nice. I could catch up on things. Yeah, I keep doing save to watch later on YouTube. Save to watch later. I'll get to it. Oh, it's like there's, lectures I want to listen to, or, different podcasts I want to listen to during the day or whatever. And it's like, I just can't get to them. I can't get to them. It took me 3 days to watch my Cold Wars podcast. Like, that's ridiculous. Because there's always something. But I just wanted folks to take a step back and take a breath and don't freak out and wait for good information. Wait for good solid sources of information. Don't jump on the crazy bandwagon of misinformation. Don't be like the right. I mean, that's their playbook. Don't do that. Don't fall into it. Because like I said, watch House Sparks with some of those clips. You'll see how crazy some of that stuff is. I don't watch it. That's how I watch it, because he plays them. And I mean, I see him on other things sometimes, and it's like, what? How do people not know this? Like, but then again, look at the circus they brought into town that's in the Congress. I mean, really, they couldn't pass the civics test to save their life. Half of them, I'm sure, on that spectrum. No. So I want people to be mindful of where they get their information. Step back a minute, because this is going to be in the news cycle, drowning out but it's a distraction. It is a distraction. Project 2025 is getting out there. It's getting to people. I mean, people even across the pond are reading it, and they're going like, what? This is crazy for y'all. Yeah, it was getting a lot of play. And I don't want us to lose sight of that because of another distraction and another distraction. I told somebody on Threads, I'm like, no, I mention it every day. And my posts and my likes, what I like, whatever, I mention on my podcast, I put it in my posts, I mention it frequently. It's not going to go anywhere for me. Because, again, no, I'm not about violence, but you poke the bull, you get the horns. And they're poking us. We're the bull. They're going to get the horns. I am a 50-year-old redhead with an attitude sometimes. Yeah, I'm mouthy, but just because, my body is deciding to fail me on occasion doesn't mean adrenaline doesn't kick in from time to time. And I still wouldn't throw down if I had to. I did not work my whole life. That whole pull yourself up by the bootstraps garbage that the GOP used to throw out there, even though it's in our Constitution that the welfare of the people and all that, and they're supposed to care, the government's supposed to care for the people, so it kind of negates people pulling themselves up by the bootstraps, but that's kind of neither here nor there at this moment. But you see what I'm saying? You gotta flip that script. I did pull myself by the bootstraps, as I was told I had to do to lift myself out of poverty. And yeah, I'm just working poor now, but I'm not like I was in my childhood when we didn't really have much. Sometimes we had nothing at all. I strive to at least have something basic, and that was fine for me. And I didn't work for that, to have somebody come and tell me they're going to take it from me. And my rights that I feel I have as a person, as a woman. I have a niece who's young. I will not see her grow up in that life, or be exposed to that, or be put through that. So you coming at me, you coming at my family with this, Nazi-esque, Hitler-esque kind of manifesto of how you all want us to live. Well, I'm the bull and I got horns. and you come at me, you're going to get them. And that's why I'm trying to, I'm being peaceable. I'm doing what we should do. We should peaceably protest in every way you can, every single day, as I said before, on your socials, in your letters, in your emails, on your phone calls. I do believe, if I go find it, I will try to, somebody dropped it there, the Heritage Foundation had a phone number. I'm going to try to get I'm going to get them deets for you. So maybe you come flood their phone. These are what I'm saying. Peaceful protest. That's what we're doing. We're trying to get that out there and do this. I would like to avoid a time that it comes to it's not peaceful. I would much prefer that. I'm not afraid. That's the interesting thing about when you're dying. I mean, we're all dying. Life is a death sentence when you think about it. Some are just quicker than others, like me. I don't have much to lose at this point. I wouldn't want to give up that time, though. I treasure it terribly. Because even though it's a body that, it'll go slow, but my heart could be tomorrow. I don't know. So that's why that time is so very precious. And that's why I'm like, peaceful protest and do what we can. But if we can't hand the keys that we hold back to the people that are already there, and it goes the other way, I don't see peaceable continuing. And I would like us to avoid that. Because I know that there are more people out there that will be kind of like, no, we're not going to go gently into that good night. And I know then peaceable will go out the door. As I said, it'll be peaceable until it's not. And I don't want to see it get to that. That's why we need to make better choices. We got a good team. Let's leave them with the keys for now. And so we can get back to work on fixing this mess. When I keep talking about this mess, this is today. This is what I'm talking about. We shouldn't even be close to this. We should do, but it's 2024, people. It shouldn't even be like that. So, I just wanted to throw that on there a little bit, so people could step back, refocus, redirect. Don't let them distract you. I know this is going to be all the chatter, at least for the rest of the weekend. So, keep your eye on the prize, folks. And all those people saying, no, this makes me wins. No, it doesn't. We don't know nothing yet. Specifically hard evidence. And I'm sorry, but he wanted his shoes before they took him. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Really. No. Eye on the prize, people. Eye on the prize. Project 2025 is still coming. And we need to be on point, and we need to keep redirecting the media, legacy media, back to where it needs to be. And if they don't want to redirect, we have our own independent sources, and we have our own way of relaying information, such as I'm doing in others, or their Substacks, or their YouTubes, the TikToks. All that. We have other ways to get that information out there. If the media don't want to, do the right thing and stay on point, and we can't redirect them, which we always should, tank them. Like I said, tank their subscribers, tank their viewership, whatever. If we can't redirect them back, then we need to get that out there. We need to keep pushing it in whatever form or fashion that we can. Because distraction is always there. It will always be there. So we need to learn how to, keep on point and redirect and refocus and get it done. Okay? So, everybody take care. Have a good one. Peace.